Hello, everyone. This is Kevin, your entrepreneur, and I'm finally going to be doing the follow up story to the Uber passenger that attacked me. I'm going to tell you what has happened since then, the outcome of everything, and as I say, believe me or do not believe me, I really do not care. I've got paperwork, and I've got a new phone to show for it. I actually like this phone a lot. Actually, the apps run a lot better. All the apps run a lot better. This might be the only really good thing to come out of having all of this happen because, because this was a lot of stress for not a whole lot of anything. So, anyway, for the record, I did press charges. Might have mentioned that in the last video. Can't remember now, but I did press charges, and I did write to Uber. Now, there are a couple things that I want to talk about before we go on. Questions people had, and they were good questions. One person said, why would you even tell Uber that this happened, because they're clearly not going to do anything about it. Folks, this is a good lesson to learn, but when situations like this happen, yes, tell Uber. Tell Uber, tell Lyft, tell them. Now, will they do anything? Probably not, as you're about to find out. But here's the thing. You don't want to be the person to not make a complaint and then have the customer make a complaint to Uber and say that you did something first. You want to be on top of it. You want to make sure that, hey, this happened and I had to do this and I'm contacting you and I'm letting you know about it. Make sure your story gets there first. Make sure it's on record, because you look very suspicious if someone attacks you in your car and steals your phone and you don't say anything to Uber, because they, in their minds, are like, well, why would you not mention that? Because if you don't do something, if that guy gets out of jail, and he very well could have gotten out of jail that in a few hours, he will complain to Uber. And he will make up whatever story he wants to make up, and your account is then deactivated until you can prove otherwise. By being proactive, you can save yourself that hassle. So that is why you contact Uber. The second thing people have asked is, if I have pepper spray, why didn't I use it? Okay, I'll admit, it's a fair question. First of all, I really was taken off guard with how quickly this escalated, and it did catch me off guard, and he got out of the car before I could really use it. That's probably the more logical reason. The other reason is, the reason I hesitated maybe, is he was wearing glasses. I mean, that sounds kind of dumb, but I think deep down I was afraid the pepper spray wouldn't work because it wouldn't get into his eyes, potentially. I have since found out that it still would have been very, very effective. Even if it didn't get directly in his eyes, it would still have confused the senses. He would have gotten out of the car. So that's bad on me. I will not hesitate to use it next time if this happens again, which I hope it doesn't, but you know what? You're reading the stories more and more. You can just never tell. So you always tell Uber because you want to have your butt covered. And I didn't use a pepper spray because it was a combination of I got scared, and he was wearing glasses and I didn't think it'd be effective, and he got out too fast. Who knows what the real reason was. The night was, you have no idea how quickly this escalated. I mean, these videos might be long as I tell them, but this whole situation took place in within 6 or 7 minutes. That's the thing with a altercation. It's always easier to remember the details in detail, but when they're happening so fast, you're still processing them. And so ideas things you would have done, things you should have done, things you might have done differently, could have done differently. It's all hindsight, guys. It's all hindsight. Bottom line, with the exception of a bruise and needing to get a new phone, there was no serious damage or loss. Now then, I pressed charges. I I got a case number and everything, and I was told that I would be called at some point for a court appointment. Um, and of course, after I emailed Uber, they called me, and we had a long conversation about what happened. They asked, "Did you get like a police number?" And I did, and I gave it to them. And you got the typical Uber response. Well, we're glad you're okay. This is what you do in the situation. I asked, what about weapons? And of course, it is so funny because even as the Uber spokesperson or customer service person is talking to someone who has just been attacked in his own car in a situation that could have gotten very, very bad and very out of control, depending on the circumstance, they still have the gall to tell you, no, you can't protect yourself. Now, of course, I didn't tell them that I carried pepper spray. I don't think you want to tell them that you have any weapons whatsoever. If someone says, how'd you defend yourself? Tell them you punched them. I mean, are they real? Are they really going to fact check that? But, yeah, it's... Their lack of empathy is amazing, really. The conversation pretty much plays out as if they're not checking to see if you're actually okay. They're calling to see whether or not you might actually sue them. So, yeah, there were no help. But they said that because of the damage to the phone, which even though I did get it back that day, it was clearly broken. I showed you guys it had all those cracks and everything, and then a week later it started acting funny, so it needed to be replaced. They said their insurance company would call me. Well, the insurance company did call me, and I made another video about it, and you can find it somewhere on my channel. And they basically said no, that they would not be covering the phone because the insurance that Uber has is for auto insurance. Which is interesting because there was another time when I had another rambunctious customer, and they didn't hurt me. They did get out of the car. There's also another Asian guy. What is it with the Asians? Like, I've had 3 major problems on Uber platforms, and 2 of them involved Asians. I don't get it. I love Asians. I love Asians. Japanese girls, they're the nicest girls in the world. And when I was in the Disney college program, there were some Chinese exchange students, both male and female. They're still good friends of mine. Why is it all the massive problems I'm having with Uber involving drunk Asians? It's probably just a coincidence. I don't know. But that guy slammed the door and kicked the door and scratched the car. Now that seems like their insurance would cover it. They didn't even send to their insurance company at that point. They just said, sorry, that happens sometimes. I'm definitely under the opinion that Uber will not help you with anything should something go wrong. I mean, unless they get the sense that you have a legitimate case to sue them and might actually do it, they're not going to do anything. So, yeah, this is a very, very sad cautionary tale, I suppose. So, insurance company called, would not replace the phone, would not give me anything, told Uber this, Uber never responded to that email. I love this company. Can you tell? I absolutely love this company. They're just the greatest company in the world. Their attention to detail and orderly conduct when bad things happen to get things fixed fast and efficiently and fairly is second to none. Love this company. Thankfully, the police seem to be a little bit better at their job. See, here's the thing. While there was supposed to be a court date, there will not be a court date. And it's because my Korean friend was deported. He was here on a working visa. And apparently this had not been the only altercation with the law. Not only that, but at prison, while they were trying to bring him in, when they took the cuffs off, he took a swing at a police officer. And I guess through whatever round the round-the-clock paperwork they had or whatever. I don't know what they did exactly. But essentially, their opinion was, you've had multiple problems with public drunkenness. You've taken a swing at one of our officers, and you're only here on a working visa. You're out. So they put him on a plane, and they sent him back to South Korea. I'm certain they informed the company he worked for that his visa had been revoked and he would have to reapply for a new one. I don't know exactly how this works. I don't even know if it's legal. People who ask me, this is where, I will tell you if you say something doesn't add up. I can't tell you what happened. All I know is that they said, he's gone. We sent him back to his home country. There will be no trial. Which, fine by me, really. I've been in court several times. Never been sued. It's usually me going after them. It's not fun. I mean, there's a satisfaction when you win, but it's not fun. It's not something you really want to spend a lot of time doing. So I wouldn't recommend it if you can help it. And, when he gets back home, I'm sure he's got some explaining to do. His job might be in jeopardy because if he was on a working visa and traveling, that was probably part of his job, and he can't do it at the moment. And who knows when he could do it again, if he could do it again. I don't know. So, did everything work out the way I'd hoped? I'm alive. So, yes. I mean, I've read stories where Uber drivers were shot. They've been assaulted way beyond a bruise on the arm. They've been beaten in the face with a flashlight. This could have been so much worse. I just had to replace a phone. And honestly, that phone was so old, I might have needed to replace it at one point anyway. Who knows? So, I doubt there's going to be a third follow-up. I think that's it. I'd be very surprised if something else occurred, but if something does occur and happens in the story, I will let you guys know. In the meantime, I will address now some of the comments in the first video, because, of course, a video like that brings a lot of comments in. And it's interesting to read them, because some people have legitimately good suggestions. Some were just apologetic. Some called me a wimp. Some said this is what they would have done, and you know what? That sounds great. I don't know if they would have had the thought process to do it in the heat of the moment. Some people are just rude. So to the people who, expressed remorse and said that they were glad I'm okay, I appreciate that. I really do. For those who had suggestions that actually sound like good ideas, you know what? I might just keep that in mind in the future. For the obnoxious ones, and I'm not going to name any specific names because I don't feed the trolls, yeah, you guys are worthless. That's all I can say. Clearly don't understand the world. We have never been in that situation. I hope you are never in that situation. I hope you can go on thinking that it's this easy to just get out of a situation like this. But it's not. It's not. So anyway, still a little shaken up at it sometimes. There's some nights I still don't go out because I just think, I don't want to do that again. Now that it's surging a lot more in the afternoon, maybe I won't need to do that as often, though. Maybe I can just do afternoon rides and make my money until this blows over. Who knows how long that'll be. And because the sad reality is the early mornings are the best time to do this. It really is. And I'm going to have to go back to it at some point. Don't want to, but I'll have to at some point, unless I can start making this a living, which I'm getting close. Maybe in 8-10 months, maybe I can do that. I don't know. It's but I also don't want to ever quit driving, because if I'm not driving, I can't get the strategies or the advice to make the videos. Life is so unfair sometimes. It really is. But so there's the follow-up. What do you folk think? You can comment below. You can like, favorite, share, subscribe. But remember, flame responsibly. Stay safe out there.